The broadcast came from deep space. It was short, strange, and sent in over 50 languages. No one could track the signal's origin. Across the galaxy, governments, scientists, and translators worked to decode it. The message said only one thing: do not disturb Earth. Fear their peace. Leaders scoffed. Peace? Why would peace be dangerous? The Galactic Union had seen many wars and many peaceful planets. Earth, long silent, had not sent a signal in over 100 years. Many thought humans had vanished or destroyed themselves. A few remembered the old stories, tales of Earth's last war, of soldiers who never surrendered and machines that never broke. Captain Dresk, commander of the Zarkonian scout fleet, didn't believe in ghost stories. He believed in facts. Earth had not made contact. Earth had no ships in orbit. Earth had no trade, no alliances, and no signs of power. It was time to check for himself. He was not alone. The Council of the Galactic Union approved a quiet mission. 4 ships, unarmed but equipped for study, would approach the solar system. Dresk would lead. The goal was simple: observe, report, and confirm whether humans were truly gone. If Earth was safe, the galaxy would gain a valuable planet. If not, well, peace had never stopped expansion before. As the ships neared Earth's edge, nothing happened. No alerts, no scans, just silence. Space around the blue planet looked calm. The satellites once floating around it were now dead, drifting like old bones. No radio waves, no defense systems. Just a quiet, beautiful world. Dresk ordered his ship to enter orbit. From above, Earth looked untouched. Oceans still moved. Clouds floated over continents. Forests stretched like green oceans. There were cities, too. Massive, shining structures, of glass and metal. But no lights, no movement. Not a single human. The other commanders reported the same. It looked like humans had just walked away. "This is impossible," Dresk muttered. He stood before the wide viewing window. His yellow eyes scanned the planet below. "Where are they?" A science officer offered a theory. Maybe a disease, a planet-wide extinction event. "Then why is everything so clean?" Dresk asked. "There's no decay, no damage. The buildings look new." The officer didn't answer. They decided to land. The shuttle touched down in a place once called New Chicago. Streets stretched out in perfect lines. Towers reached for the sky. Cars still sat beside sidewalks, untouched. A child's toy rested beside a fountain, its colors still bright. The team stepped into a library. The doors opened with a soft hum. Inside, everything was preserved. Books, maps, even soft music playing from unseen speakers. On a table, someone had left a note. It was written in perfect Zarkonian script. No one could explain that. It read, "We are not gone. We are resting. Do not wake us." Dresk stared at it. His second-in-command, Viel, picked it up. "Is this a joke? How would they know our language?" Another officer found a data pad. It played a video as soon as they touched it. A woman appeared. On screen, human, calm. Her voice was soft, but her words were clear. "Dear visitor, we are aware of your arrival. We ask only one thing. Leave. Do not explore further. Do not dig. Do not test our patience. We left for peace, but we remember war well." The video ended. One of the soldiers laughed nervously. "They're bluffing. Probably just old warnings." But Viel was uneasy. "Then where are the people? The animals? Why isn't anything decayed?" No one had an answer. Back on the ship, Dresk reported his findings to the fleet. As they discussed the next move, one of the orbiting vessels sent a sudden alert. A ship was missing. No explosion. No alarm. Just gone. 1 second it floated beside them. The next second, it wasn't there. "Scan again," Dresk shouted. The system replied, "No trace found." Another ship vanished. Panic spread. "Retreat," Dresk ordered. "Get us off this planet now." The engines powered up, but the ship wouldn't move. "Something's pulling us back," the pilot yelled. Dresk looked out the window. The Earth remained still, peaceful, silent. But now, the clouds above one continent swirled unnaturally. A symbol appeared below, huge, bright, glowing red. A single word, warned. The ship began to shake. Dresk tried to send a message back to command, but the signal jammed. Screens turned black, lights flickered, and then the AI voice came, calm, female, human. "You were told. You did not listen." A low hum filled the air. The crew froze, unsure what to do. Outside, space itself seemed to bend. Stars shifted, shadows moved, and then silence again, just like before. The ship trembled as silence returned. Lights on the control panel flickered, then held steady. Captain Dresk stood still, staring at the blank screen. His crew looked to him for answers, but he had none. 2 scout ships were gone. No signals, no debris, no noise. Just empty space where they had once been. "Are we still locked in orbit?" Dresk asked calmly. "Yes, sir," the pilot replied. "Engines respond, but we're not moving. It's like something's holding us here." Dresk turned to his science officer. "Can you identify the force?" The officer tapped his console. "No known source. Gravity fields are stable. No energy spikes. It feels deliberate." Dresk nodded slowly. "Prepare another landing team. We're going back down." Vale stepped forward. "Sir, are you sure that's wise?" "I'm not sure of anything," Dresk replied. "But if Earth is doing this, we must understand how. We can't run, so we find answers." The second descent team landed near a massive building once labeled as the Central Human Research Institute. Its walls were covered in clean solar panels. Doors opened at their approach, just like before. No alarms, no resistance. Inside, the air was fresh. Lights turned on automatically. Plants grew along the walls. It looked more like a garden than a lab. Dresk walked ahead, scanning each room carefully. Every space held records, machines and screens, untouched but active. One of the soldiers called out, "Captain, you need to see this." They entered a large chamber with hundreds of data capsules, each glowing faintly. A central console displayed a list of names, each one human, followed by strange status indicators. Status, sleep. Status, monitoring. Status, locked. The words meant nothing until the screen flashed a new message. Unauthorized presence detected. Waking observation unit. The room darkened. The glowing capsules dimmed. Then, from behind a wall, a hidden door slid open. A figure stepped out. She was human, tall, quiet, dressed in a simple gray uniform. Her eyes glowed faint blue, and her skin held a soft, metallic shimmer. She looked at the group calmly, without fear. "Welcome to the archive," she said. "You were not invited." Dresk stepped forward. "Are you human?" "I was," she answered. "Now I am more." "Why are you here?" "Where is everyone else?" She paused before replying. "They are sleeping, chosen sleep, until the stars are safe." The team exchanged nervous glances. Vile asked, "What does that mean? Why would humans leave everything and sleep?" "Because peace is not absence of war," she said. "Peace is a decision. We chose to step away from conflict. But to make that choice, we had to become something more." She walked slowly toward the center console. "You don't understand. No one ever does until it's too late." Dresk lowered his voice. "2 of our ships vanished. Was that you?" "No. she said. That was the Earth itself. It responds to threats. You landed. You searched. You triggered its memory. Memory? He asked. Earth remembers everything, she said. It remembers fire, blood, the sound of broken promises. We taught it to. And now, when visitors come without respect, it protects itself. Dresk tried to remain calm. We didn't mean harm. Intentions are not always actions, she replied. Vile stepped forward. Then let us go. We'll leave. Tell your planet that. It already knows, the woman said. But leaving is not yours to decide anymore. The room grew cold. The plants along the walls pulled back, closing like frightened creatures. The air thickened, as if something unseen now watched them. What is this place? One of the soldiers whispered. The woman answered, her voice soft. This is not just a planet. Earth is not just a world. It is now a guardian, a mind, a will. And it remembers being hurt. Dresk looked around. The chamber now felt alive. What happens now? He asked. That depends, she said. Do you want to listen, or do you want to test us? Dresk breathed slowly. He had fought in many battles. He had faced rebels, beasts, even solar storms. But nothing felt as strange, as heavy, as the silence pressing on them now. Show us more, he said. She turned and motioned them to follow. They passed through long corridors filled with holograms, wars, peace treaties, lost planets. In one chamber, they saw simulations of weapons that could erase stars, bend time, twist space. All of it was labeled tested, deemed unethical. The woman said, We stepped back not because we couldn't win, but because we knew we wouldn't. Stop winning. A quiet fell over the group. One soldier whispered, We thought you were weak. She looked at him with a faint smile. We let you think that. As they left the final room, a message lit up on the wall. Peace is not surrender. It is warning. Captain Dresk stood in front of the large screen, staring at the moving images. The halls of the archive were quiet now. Behind him, his team remained still, unsure of what they had witnessed. The woman, who claimed to once be human, stood beside them, calm and quiet. The holograms had shown weapons that could twist time, erase memories, and crush planets. Each one had been tested, perfected, and locked away. They were never used in war, not because they failed, but because they worked too well. Humanity had built the tools to conquer, then walked away from them. Dresk broke the silence. Why did you keep all of this hidden? She looked at him with steady eyes. Because we understood what it meant. Power without control is destruction. So we chose restraint. Vile stepped forward. But restraint can be seen as weakness. The woman nodded. That's why many have tried to test us. None have returned to speak of it. Outside, the orbiting flagship sent a silent alarm. Earth's surface was beginning to shift. From space, it looked like glowing patterns were spreading across continents. Lines, shapes, symbols. They pulsed, with soft blue light growing brighter by the second. One of the crew on the ship sent a message down to Dresk's communicator. Captain, something's waking up. Dresk turned to the woman. What's happening? She replied without emotion. Earth is preparing. It senses that you are not here to leave. We haven't attacked, Dresk said. She stepped closer. Presence is enough. The Earth no longer trusts intentions. The crew received another report. One of the remaining ships in orbit had gone dark. No explosion. No signal. Just vanished. Panic spread across the crew's faces. Dresk tried to think clearly. They had to do something. Fast. Is there a way to speak to Earth? He asked. You already have, she said. Every step you took, every system you scanned, it watched. And now it remembers. Vielle glanced at the glowing floor. The light moved like a heartbeat. It's alive, isn't it? She nodded. Yes, it's no longer just a planet. It is memory, defense, and decision. And it is tired of being disturbed. Dresk looked toward the exit. We must go. The woman made no move to stop them. You can try, but the Earth may decide otherwise. Back at the shuttle, things had changed. The engines hummed, but the ship wouldn't lift. A strange energy field held it in place. It was invisible, but the scanners showed it like a net wrapped around them. We're stuck, said the pilot. Vale tapped the console, searching for a way through. It's everywhere. This field isn't mechanical, it's organic. Dresk stared out the window. Trees around the landing zone had grown taller, thicker. They now leaned toward the shuttle like curious watchers. This world isn't just awake, he whispered. It's listening. Suddenly, a low sound filled the air. It wasn't a voice or a machine. It was a hum. It came from the ground, the sky, the walls of the ship. A single tone that vibrated in their bones. The ship's lights dimmed. Systems shut down one by one. We're losing everything, cried a technician. Dresk reached for his emergency beacon. It sparked and died in his hand. The crew looked to him, faces pale, hands shaking. He took a breath. We hold position. Do not panic. Do not move unless ordered. The woman's voice echoed in their minds. This is the silence you ignored. Outside, the trees stopped moving. The glowing lines in the earth paused. The hum faded. The door opened. The woman stood. There, you are lucky, she said. Dresk stepped out slowly. Why? Because the earth chose patience today. He looked around. Everything had returned to calm. No shaking. No power surges. The air felt normal again. She pointed to the sky. Your last ship waits. You may go. Dresk didn't hesitate. He signaled the crew. They moved quickly, quietly. No one spoke. As the shuttle rose, the field let go. Systems returned. Lights blinked back on. The woman watched them lift into the air. As they passed into the upper atmosphere, she whispered one last message through the comms. Leave this place in peace, and do not return. Next time we won't speak. Dresk sat in silence as the stars appeared again. He looked down at Earth one last time. It still looked beautiful, still calm. But he now knew the truth. That peace wasn't weakness. It was a warning, and they had barely survived hearing it. The shuttle reached the flagship. Dresk and his team stepped out, eyes heavy, faces pale. No one spoke. The crew on board gave curious glances, but no questions. Something about the silence that followed them felt too serious to break. Inside the command chamber, Dresk removed his helmet and sat, quietly. He didn't look like a captain anymore. He looked like someone who had seen too much. Vale stood beside him, arms crossed, eyes scanning the report screens. One officer approached. Sir, while you were planetside, we received a signal. Very weak. It came from deep within Earth. Show me, Dresk said. The screen lit up with a single line. Curiosity is not strength. Dresk's hand tightened into a fist. They knew we'd keep digging. The science team brought a new discovery to the table. One of the backup probes, left in orbit days earlier, had picked up strange energy waves beneath Antarctica. The readings didn't match any known pattern. It wasn't weather, magnetic activity, or anything natural. The signal had rhythm, structure. It was a pattern, a message. Dresk gave the order. Send a drone. The drone launched within the hour. It passed through Earth's upper atmosphere, silent and smooth. As it neared the icy continent, cameras picked up strange formations in the snow. Lines stretched across the ice like roads, but no vehicles moved. The lines glowed faintly, pulsing like breath. The drone descended, landing softly on a flat surface of snow. It rolled forward, and after only a few meters, its sensors pinged something buried beneath. Metal. Large. Alive. The crew gasped. A hatch opened beneath the drone. The ground split without sound. The drone disappeared into darkness. "Connection lost," said the technician. Dresk leaned forward. "Run the last footage." The screen played the final seconds. The drone entered the opening. Lights lined the tunnel walls. Then, a face, not human, not alien, something between, cold eyes, still mouth. A living statue, then black. Dresk stood. "What is that?" No one answered. The technician whispered, "There's more." The second probe caught something else, deep in the planet's core. A structure the size of a small moon. It didn't spin. It didn't emit heat. But it was pulsing in time with Earth's gravity. "What's it doing?" Vial asked. The science officer responded, "It's listening." Suddenly all the ship's monitors flashed white. Then they showed an old human symbol. Two hands clasped in peace. Beneath it, a line of text appeared in multiple languages. The final decision was recorded here. Files flooded the screen. Millions of logs, transmissions, messages from old human governments and military leaders. They were sealed in hidden storage nodes on Earth, but now they were unlocked. The crew watched in silence. One message came from a human general named Arden Kale. His image appeared, aged, calm, wise. His words were slow and heavy. "We reached the point where we could destroy without trying. Our minds moved faster than time. Our weapons ended wars before they began. And we realized, if we didn't stop ourselves, no one would. So we walked away." More messages followed. Scientists, teachers, philosophers, all agreeing that peace would be their greatest weapon. Not because it stopped war, but because it proved humanity no longer needed it. Vial shook his head. They chose silence, after learning how loud they could be. Dresk stood still, eyes fixed on the screen. They became gods, and chose to vanish. But one message stood out. It was marked as Final Order. They played it. It was not video, just a voice. Female. Clear. "This is Earth. Not a place. A choice. We will sleep. We will not warn again. But if disturbed, we will rise not in anger, but in conclusion." The file ended. A quiet moment passed. Then the ship lights flickered again. Not from damage, but from something outside. The technician shouted, "It's the structure beneath Antarctica. It's rising." Outside the window the stars dimmed. The Earth, so calm moments before, now glowed at its edges. Something ancient was moving below the ice. Not with speed, but with certainty. Dresk issued new orders. "Alert the Union. Send everything. Let them know we are not alone and never were." Another officer spoke. "Captain, what do we call it?" Dresk thought for a moment, then replied, "The peace engine, because whatever it wasn't built to fight. It was built to end everything." Quietly, the flagship floated above Earth in complete stillness. Everyone on board remained silent, watching the rising glow from the icy continent below. Antarctica, once cold and forgotten, now pulsed like a living heart. The ice cracked in perfect circles, forming patterns too clean to be natural. Lights moved beneath the surface, slow, steady, intelligent. Captain Dresk stood near the main window, staring down with a growing sense of unease. He had witnessed powerful storms and strange alien worlds, but nothing like this. This wasn't just weather or energy. It was a response. Suddenly, the ship's communication system activated on its own. A voice came through. Soft, clear, human. You were warned, but you remained. So now, I return. The crew froze. Vial turned to Dresk. Is that the same woman from before? Dresk nodded. I think it's her, or something larger. The screen lit up again. A figure appeared, not on a monitor, but in the center of the room. It was a hologram, yet it felt real. The woman looked calm. Her eyes glowed like stars. Her expression was not angry, but tired. She spoke slowly. You entered our sky, searched our soil, and woke our memories. We hoped no one would find us, but you came anyway. Dresk tried to speak. We didn't come to harm. She raised her hand gently. All who disturb say the same, but intent doesn't erase action. Behind her image, the view changed. It showed Earth's deep core. There, resting silently, was a machine too large to describe. It wasn't built from steel or stone. It looked alive. It moved with the planet, shaped by it, connected to everything. She called it the memory core. This is where we stored all that we were, she said. Our hopes, our pain, our power. And when we left the surface, we gave it a purpose. Never forget what war cost us. The image shifted again, showing ancient wars, cities breaking apart, oceans boiling, skies filled with fire. Not science, fiction, real history, recorded and stored deep underground. Humanity learned too fast, she continued. We reached the stars before we understood ourselves. We didn't lose battles. We ended them too easily, Vial whispered. So they vanished? No, she said. We stepped back. We built this world into a vault. A quiet promise to the galaxy that we would not act, unless asked to, unless forced. The screen darkened. Then, it showed alien fleets, ships from dozens of worlds, being pulled from the sky. No explosions, just silence. Ships vanishing without a trace. These were the ones who came before you, she said. They believed peace meant weakness. Dresk asked, Why are you showing us this now? She looked at him carefully. Because you listened, you paused, you chose stillness in a moment of fear. That matters. A new view appeared. This time, it showed the peace engine, fully awake, rising through the cracked ice. It was not shaped like a weapon. It had no guns, no cannons. It looked like a temple made of light and gravity. It moved with grace, floating above the ground, humming softly. The peace engine does not destroy, she said. It ends conflict. It rewrites space. It erases aggression from memory. Entire wars have been undone with it. Entire species have forgotten how to fight. Vale stepped forward. Then, why not use it now? She smiled faintly. Because you haven't earned that fate, not yet. Dresk breathed out. So we're being spared. You're being measured, she replied. Peace is not given, it is chosen, and sometimes forced. A signal flashed on the bridge. Ships from the Galactic Union were approaching. They had heard the warnings and came in full force. Hundreds of ships, armed, ready. Dresk turned to the hologram. They don't know what we know, the woman nodded, and they will act like the ones before them. Dresk stepped forward. Then help us stop them. She looked at him long and hard, then she spoke. I will give you one chance. Speak to them. Tell them what waits below. If they listen, Earth will remain quiet. If not, the peace engine will act. Her hologram faded. Dresk activated the ship's long-range transmitter. His voice, calm and firm, spread across the stars. This is Captain Dresk. Stand down. Do not enter Earth's orbit. I repeat, do not enter. This is not a target. This is a line in history. Step over it, and peace will disappear. Not in anger, but in silence. He paused, then added, You do not fear Earth's war, but you should. Outside, the peace engine floated higher, pulsing like a sleeping god stirring from its dreams. The peace engine hovered just above the cracked ice. It glowed softly, like the last light before nightfall. Its smooth shape held no weapons, no sharp edges, and no signs of violence. Yet the entire fleet could feel its presence like pressure in the air, calm, immense, final. On the bridge of the Zarkonian flagship, Captain Dresk stood tall. His message had been sent to the approaching Union ships. All he could do now was wait. The response came within minutes. This is Admiral Corrin of the Galactic Union. Your warning is noted. However, we cannot risk Earth becoming a future threat. We will proceed. Dresk closed his eyes for a second. They don't understand. Vial moved beside him. They think force is the answer to everything. The crew remained quiet. The room felt colder now. On the screen, the Union fleet drew closer. Hundreds of ships, large, armed, built for war. Then Earth changed. Not in sound, but in feeling. The peace engine slowly rotated, casting rings of soft light into the sky. From space, it looked like Earth was growing wings, massive energy lines. Stretching beyond the clouds, they formed patterns no one could explain. Circles, waves, and points of contact. The flagship's sensors exploded with data. It's rewriting the field around the planet, shouted the science officer. Is it a shield? Vial asked. No, the officer replied, staring at the readings. It's something else. Something rewriting reality itself. Admiral Corrin's voice returned. This time louder, angry. We gave you a chance. You chose fear over reason. Earth will now be cleansed. The Union ships moved in. Formations tightened, weapons charged, but the peace engine made no move. Instead, space bent, not violently, not with noise or fire. It simply curved. One of the lead Union cruisers vanished mid-flight, not destroyed, erased. Its place was empty space, no explosion, no debris, no echo. Dresk's crew stared in disbelief. Another ship blinked out, then another. Entire wings of the fleet vanished without warning. One officer cried out, It's removing them from existence. The science officer added, Not just the ships. It's removing the memory of their launch from nearby systems. They never existed. The peace engine turned once more. Then it stopped. The stars behind Earth began to fade, but not from darkness. From silence. Like a curtain being pulled, light itself seemed to forget how to shine. The message was clear. This was not war. This was correction. On the Union flagship, Admiral Corrin tried to respond, but his signal never reached anyone. His voice disappeared into static. His ship's systems shut down one by one. Inside the Zarkonian bridge, Dresk whispered, This isn't defense. It's decision. He tapped into the emergency comms and sent one final message across all channels. To any ship that can hear, stop. Leave. Earth does not fight. Earth ends. Half the fleet began to retreat, but the ones who stayed vanished without protest. Quiet, clean, final. Above Antarctica, the peace engine released one final wave of soft light. It washed over Earth and spread into the stars, and just like that, everything returned to calm. No alarms, no movement, just silence. Vale looked around the bridge. Did it forgive us? No, Dresk replied. It spared us. Far below, the woman returned in hologram form. Her voice remained calm. You have seen now. The peace engine is not a weapon. It is our promise. If peace is broken, it will fix the world. Not through war, but through removal. Dresk asked. Why let some of us live? She answered simply. Because someone must remember. The stars outside flickered back to life. The field around Earth faded. The peace engine slowly descended, disappearing into the ice once more. The lines in the ground closed behind it. Everything looked normal again, but nothing would ever be the same. The Galactic Union's records were altered. Every file mentioning Earth's location became unreadable. Charts were corrupted. Maps rewrote themselves. The galaxy would forget Earth. Forget how to find it. Forget why they feared it. Only a few would carry the truth. Dresk turned to his crew. We return home. This time, not with conquest, but with memory. And somewhere, deep beneath the frozen ground, the peace engine slept again. Until it was needed. The Zarkonian flagship floated silently in deep space. Behind it, Earth turned slowly, quiet and untouched. To any observer, it looked peaceful, a beautiful blue planet surrounded by stars. But those on board the ship knew better. Captain Dresk stood at the front window. His reflection looked older now, more tired. What he had seen on Earth would never leave his mind. Not the peace engine, not the vanishing ships, not the calm voice that had spoken with the weight of a world behind it. The crew worked in silence. No one smiled. No one joked. They were not the same people who had landed on Earth just days before. Dresk turned to Vale. How many ships made it back to Union space? Vile answered. Only 37, out of 300. And do they remember? Some, Vile replied. Some recall Earth as a mystery. Others remember nothing. It's as if the galaxy is choosing to forget. Dresk nodded. Or being helped to. Across the control screens, reports came in. Navigation data had shifted. Earth's coordinates were missing from all star maps. Star charts no longer showed the solar system. Travel logs were blank. Even memories inside artificial minds had gaps. Earth had become a shadow. Still there, but unreachable. What do we tell the Council? Vile asked. Dresk didn't speak for a while. Then he replied, We tell them the truth. But they won't believe it, Vile said. They don't have to, Dresk replied. They only need to understand one thing. Peace was not weakness. It was a warning. Later, in the main hall of the Galactic Union, Dresk stood before leaders from across the stars. His voice was calm, but every word felt heavy. We met no army, no fleet, no threats, and yet, entire ships vanished without a sound. We saw no war machines, only silence. Earth did not defend itself. It simply responded. And that response was enough to end a fleet. Some scoffed. Some shook their heads. But a few listened. A few looked afraid. One counselor leaned forward. If Earth is so dangerous, why haven't they attacked? Dresk answered clearly. Because they don't want to rule. They only want to be left alone. Another leader asked, Then why erase their location? Vile stood and answered, Because we failed their test. We didn't listen. They gave us a chance and we threw it away. So they took away the map. The galaxy won't find them again unless they allow it. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Many were unsure. Some still thought it was a trick, a myth, a tale to cover up failure. But those who had seen it knew better. Dresk closed the report with a final warning. Earth is no longer just a planet. It is a choice. And we chose wrong. Back aboard the flagship days later, Dresk walked alone through the quiet halls. He entered the observation room, where the stars stretched forever. In one corner of the room, a recording device blinked. He sat down and began to speak. If you're hearing this, then you've come looking. Maybe you've heard stories. Maybe you found a piece of forgotten data. Maybe Earth is still whispering through the cracks. He paused. I led a mission to that world. I thought humans were gone. I thought peace meant they had lost. But I was wrong. They didn't lose. They left. They became something more than conquerors. They became watchers. The stars shimmered behind him. They taught their planet to remember. They built machines not to fight, but to erase war itself. Not with bombs or battles, but with silence. A silence that removes conflict like a hand wiping dust from a mirror. He leaned forward, speaking slowly. If you find Earth again, do not scan it. Do not test it. Do not land. Just watch it. Respect it. Leave it. He ended the message and walked out. Far away, deep in the frozen heart of Earth, the peace engine rested once more. The snow returned. The lights dimmed. The hum faded. The planet looked asleep again. But now, the galaxy knew. Earth had not disappeared. It had chosen peace. And that peace, when ignored, was more terrifying than any war.